Challenge number 1. 30 days with stop, swap thoughts. Mastering negativity. My first challenge was an exercise in changing my automatic negative thoughts to positive ones. I was going to test what I practiced in my meditation out in the real world. The state of focus I reached in meditation was going to be brought into my everyday life. My negativity wasn't directed at my outside world per se, but at myself. In my mind, I complained about my life situation and about how shitty everything was. The idea of practicing being the positive version of myself came from Earl Nightingale's famous recording, The Strangest Secret in the World, where he challenged listeners to spend 30 days intensively changing a habit. I was now accepting that challenge. For 30 days, I was going to be aware of my negativity when I noticed it. I would focus on its positive opposite. Once I realized I had fallen into the habit of negativity, I was going to pat myself lovingly on the shoulder for noticing, and then I was going to try to let feelings such as gratitude, compassion, and forgiveness dominate. I would like to make clear that thinking and acting positively doesn't exclude feeling angry or frustrated or negative. You can't do that. And either is it advisable to try to do so, because fighting against these emotions make them grow in intensity. Believe me, you give life to what you fight against and what you focus on. As Carl Gustav Jung put it, quote, "What we resist persists," unquote. This wasn't going to be an exercise in suppressing negativity, but in becoming conscious of it. As part of the exercise, I realized that if I was feeling frustrated or angry, I needed to be aware of the cause and process it right now, right here. I couldn't drag it around with me for days on end. 30 days was manageable. My goal was to train myself to focus on what I want instead of what I don't want. Possibilities instead of limitations. I came up with this little game to play for the rest of the month. The Stop, Swap Thoughts game. Quite simply, every time I experienced something that had a negative tone, that is, when I decided something was bad, wrong, stupid, annoying, irritating, or shitty, I was going to notice it. And within 5 seconds, do a 180. Turn my view of the situation around from being something negative to something being positive. I had to practice turning my focus toward positivity. For example, on the way to the canteen. It's raining. Stop. Swap thoughts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Better a light drizzle than a thunder shower. Wait! The bus pulls away from the stop 3 minutes early. Damn! Now I'll have to wait half an hour for the next stupid bus. Stop. Swap thoughts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great! Now I have half an hour more to enjoy the sun and listen to my audiobook before I get home. I'm actually really grateful that there is a bus from work to home at all. It's so shitty that I can't drive anymore. Stop. Swap thoughts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Well, at least I can always drink myself under the table at parties. I can't be the designated driver. He sounds like an idiot. Stop. Swap thoughts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's not an idiot. He just has a different point of view on the situation than I do. You get the idea. I quickly discovered that There's always something positive to be found in the negative. And I amused both my family and several colleagues with this way of responding. My boys started calling me their hippie dad. Several people have asked me how can they suddenly decide to look positively at situations if that's not how they feel. Make no mistake, that is what it was like for me at the beginning of my 30-day stop, swap thought game. It felt wrong at first. It was artificial and awkward, but I had arrived at the realization that I could wait all my life for happiness and joy to come along, but they never would if I didn't take the first step toward them. So that's what I was doing now. If you think you're going to have a bad day and you immediately feel sad at the thought, your day will most likely be bad. But if using your focus and your will, you send a clear and direct order to your subconscious mind that today you feel strong, powerful, and full of energy and joy. Your brain will secrete neurotransmitters that can make you feel just that. Your body language and your attitude can help you become an alchemist of your mind, influencing which neurotransmitters your brain releases. This allows you to greatly affect your mood, help yourself forward, and not drag yourself down. I have many experiences and examples from my 30-day stop, swap thoughts game, and I'd like to describe a few of them for you. When I embarked on this challenge, I was sad and bitter that I had to spend 3 hours every day on a bus. It was so frustrating, and I complained to myself every morning about no longer being able to drive. I felt humiliated, standing there in the pouring rain, waiting for the bus with a bunch of teenagers while my neighbors drove by us in their comfortable cars. My ego had taken a hit. But I had started my Stop, Swap Thoughts month, so I had to figure out how to activate my Stop, Swap Thoughts game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Morten, you have an hour and a half before you get to work, and until then you can relax and enjoy your own company. When do you ever have time for that? Almost never. Aha! I could use this precious bus time to listen to audiobooks and meditate. Something I had difficulty finding time for. Wow! Taking the bus became a gift and an advantage. And when colleagues or neighbors offered me a lift, I actually declined because my bus time was now my best time of the day. I changed my perspective, turned a negative judgment of a situation in my life into a positive one. I hadn't changed the situation itself, I had changed my view of the situation. I had that power, and the choice was mine. I started to notice something else. When I waited for the bus, and it was 12 minutes late than usual, the voice appeared again. Stupid bus! It's always late. I stood constantly checking my watch and stop, swap thoughts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. New thought. It wondered, Morten, do you have a magical ability that enables you to summon buses by staring at your watch? Yup. I was permanently watching the clock because I couldn't stand just waiting here. After all, I had something to do. Damn it. And staring at my watch every 20 seconds was my solution to the restlessness. So, I made a new rule. From the second I left home each morning, there was no checking my watch. After all, I knew that if I left at the right time, I would arrive in time for the first bus, and then there was nothing I could do to affect the flow of public transport. It just happened, and nothing I did would make any difference to it. Can you do something about it? No? So why worry? I began to observe the world around me instead, and one day when I was just observing, The wind caught hold of a small pile of withered leaves that had been lying on the sidewalk. They danced around in a beautiful spiral, swirling faster and faster, as if carried by an invisible force. They took off from the ground, and then the bus came. I no longer waited for the bus. I experienced the world until the bus arrived. It was a choice. The situation could be seen from a different perspective, and I decided the perspective: wait or experience. Another positive effect soon emerged. One day, as I was waiting for the bus, a 20-minute wait, the voice began to grumble again. Waiting here is such a stupid waste of time. It's below my dignity. Why aren't there more buses? It's ridiculous. I could be in my car if... Whoa, said another voice. Stop. Swap thoughts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why are you actually waiting here, Morten? I had been on antidepressant for a year and had gained about 20 pounds. I wanted to shed the weight, so I could turn this situation to my advantage. I could start walking and then hop on the bus further down. I headed off, feeling the wind in my face and the warmth of the sun on my bald head, and it was wonderful. When I got to the next stop, I looked at the bus stop and all the people standing with their noses in their cell phones. Why don't you just keep going, Morten? I decided to walk on. It was about 4 miles, a perfect way to lose weight. It was amazing. I felt in control of my situation and that I was seeing possibilities where before I saw limitations. That I wasn't defeated by negativity and sulking. I felt lucky to have discovered so much quality time in being cut off from my car. I got better at seeing time as something I needed to make the most of, not just as something that had to pass by. I now understood this passage in one of Eckhart Tolle's books. Quote, whatever the present moment contains, accept it as if you had chosen it. Unquote. I decided how to judge the situation in which I found myself, how I would immediately assess it and how I would act. Due to my situation, I got better at enjoying the time here and now. I didn't wish I was somewhere else or walk faster to get home quickly. I just let time be and walked at the pace I wanted to. It was pure bliss, and I began to notice things I had never noticed before. I noticed houses that I'd never seen before, even though I had rushed past them in my car 1,000 times. I noticed the fields and how the grain billowed in the wind. I noticed clouds forming fantastic shapes in the sky. I felt that I loved being where I was now. I was able to feel what it was like to be here. It began to lash on the walk home, and the voice moaned at the rain. I'm going to get wet now. This would never have happened if I didn't have this stupid condition that's making me blind. The thought frustrated me for a moment, but I was also frustrated at having had the thought in the first place. That shouldn't happen this month. Then I remembered that the mission of this month was to notice when negative thoughts started a chain reaction. I gave myself a loving pat on the shoulder instead for having noticed my moany thoughts. Stop, swap thoughts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, walking in a refreshing rain shower is so nice after being coked up inside all day. Good thing I brought my raincoat. We don't need to react to the voice of complaint. Instead, we can accept it's there. And the moment we accept it, it stops moaning. It begins to rely on the observer, who is the true self, the conscious awareness, and the decisiveness that the voice is now feeling due to the positive neurotransmitters which the new positive thoughts have activated in your brain, and thereby your body, makes the voice feel safe and secure, and it starts to relax. You are the captain of your ship. You give the orders. Can you see how this way of perceiving and reacting is a choice, and that it can be applied in every situation we encounter? Do you see how practicing being consciously aware and present in the moment can make you discover the automatic inner complaining voice and stop the limiting and automatic programs that the subconscious mind plays faster than you can consciously respond to? It's a new and different mindful way of life. This is mindfulness in action. But Morten, I don't have time to practice mindfulness and meditation in my busy everyday life. I often hear this when I talk to people about meditation. So I'd like to give you a tip on how to implement mindfulness in your everyday life without having to sit on a meditation mat and chant. That's still not such a bad idea. But I'm going to give you another option. I call it mindfulness on the go. Rather than just being mindful a few times a day on a meditation mat, you create moments of mindfulness in everyday life.